This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
Now, back to the Larry Kudlow Show.
Good to his word. On the very first day of his presidency, Donald Trump and Tom Homan, ICE, the deportation immigration czar, started right away. 308 arrests, first day on Tuesday, including all kinds of bad people, murderers, child molesters, MS-13 gang members. They hit Boston, Denver, Philly, Atlanta, Seattle, Washington, D.C., and Miami. 10,000 troops have gone to the border. They sent 1,500 right off the top. They're deputizing the ATF and the DEA to help with deportations. Nobody knows this story better than my friend Sara Carter, Fox News contributor and author of the host of the award-winning podcast, The Sara Carter Show. Sara, thanks a million for coming on. Talking about
Thanks so much for having me. Thanks so much for having me, Larry. It's probably the most important issue in America today, a true crisis of our country. And I think the real reason why President Trump, why the American people backed him the way they did, because of this open border chaos that was created under the Biden administration that put all of our lives at risk, our national security at risk, and by the way, the lives of the people that were being trafficked into our country at risk.
You know, talking to Bill Melugin, the great Fox reporter, he described it, I believe it was Tuesday, as they're going after the worst of the worst first, the worst criminals first, Sara. Does that jive with what you know and hear?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. We're talking incarcerated criminals as well as those on the streets. That's why you're seeing these large-scale operations across the country hitting the major cities where MS-13 is operating, Tren de Aragua is operating. As you know, Tom Homan made that promise prior to coming in. President Trump did as well. And what they're trying to do is get out those known gang members that are out there on the streets, people that have either skipped their court hearings, people that have not been properly vetted, those that have already been arrested and are being held. Remember, Larry, a lot of those folks have been in prison, but yet the Biden administration has not extradited them. There are a lot of nations in our hemisphere right now that are cooperating with us, one of them being El Salvador right now under Nayib Bukele. I had the opportunity to speak with him several times on numerous trips into El Salvador. And I know that he's already spoken to President Trump, and he is working with the administration to assist in the extradition of these criminals. And as you know, there's over 86,000 imprisoned in El Salvador right now that Nayib Bukele has taken under terrorism laws in his country. And he has a prison there, Sicat, which is a maximum security facility. I was able to visit that prison recently, and I was able to see for myself and interview the prisoners there. And I'm talking, these are the worst of the worst. In fact, they are described as serial killers. And so imagine how many of them are in our country right now, that are still on our streets. And this is why it is so imperative that the administration, President Trump, put all the resources into getting these criminals off our streets to protect our children and protect our citizens. And, of course, the national security implications of not vetting anybody that really came across that border over the last 4 years, which I believe exceeds far more than 10 million. And,
Sara, from what I gather, Tom Homan and his crew is going into sanctuary cities, that whole virtue signaling nonsense that we heard right after the election is completely broken down. Is that the case?
At Verizon, anyone can trade in their old phone for a new one on us with Unlimited Ultimate, which means everyone in your family could get a new phone and stay on your family plan, keeping you close.
Hey, Mom, you seen my toothbrush? Yeah, I'm almost done with it.
Oh, maybe too close. Trade-in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. I mean, look, being a sanctuary city is not going to stop the federal government from taking these hardened criminals out of our communities and being sent back, repatriated back to their countries and imprisoned. This is, what he can do, what the federal government can do is financially withhold dollars from these cities. I mean, look, this is, federal dollars are going their way, but we don't need to send those federal dollars to these cities if they're not repatriating and cooperating with ICE, with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and with our security apparatus, our FBI as well, our DEA. And now that the president has designated the top drug cartels terrorist organizations, there's a whole new bit of ammo, Larry, that they could use against these cartels and against these organizations. So, be aware, if you're a sanctuary city and you're harboring criminals, you are breaking the law. And if you are, and this is why President Trump says no more of this, being able to harbor criminals inside your facilities or put people inside your facilities. That it's not hands off anymore. It's hands on. ICE will go in there, take them, and get them out. It's over.
But Mexico does not appear to be very helpful in this, Sarah. And there's a story circulating that Mexico prevented a flight of criminals. Two Guatemala-bound Air Force C-17s carried 80 people apiece. They flew deportees out of the U.S. Thursday night. The third flight, slotted for Mexico, never took off. And President Sheinbaum has basically criticized Trump trying to deport on the border. I mean, we don't have too much time, Sara Carter, but when's Mexico going to shape up?
Oh, when we hold them accountable financially.
Yeah.
When they pay the price for it. And, President Claudia Sheinbaum, she speaks out against human trafficking, but letting people into our country is emboldening these human traffickers to hundreds of billions of dollars a year in cartels. And you also have to realize, Larry, that a lot of these cartels hold the government of Mexico in chains, literally in chains. They operate as a shadow government in Mexico. So Claudia Sheinbaum is dealing with her own security issues. And a lot of times I believe things that she says publicly are not things that she says privately. And I think that's based on security issues in Mexico. But look, they're going to pay the price, right? If these nations do not cooperate with us, Guatemala, Mexico, El Salvador's already made a promise to cooperate. If they don't cooperate, they are really going to pay a heavy financial burden under President Trump. And he's made that perfectly clear. It's not a secret. We are going to protect America first.
Yes, indeed. Sara Carter. Sara Carter Show, award-winning podcast. We can't thank you enough. We'll be right back.